2 slips apart at any freshwater marina in the country, you can watch the whole thing play out. There's a broker in a clean polo shirt walking a retired couple up the dock toward a brand new trawler. And the sticker on that boat is close to $750,000. He's talking about sunsets. What he is not talking about is the boat tied up 2 slips down, a $20,000 houseboat that crosses the same water, sleeps the same 6 people, and will still be floating long after that shiny new trawler has been traded in twice and depreciated into somebody else's problem. That couple worked 40 years for the money in their pocket, and the man in the polo shirt would like most of it. I've spent a working life around these boats, and I'm going to tell you what the dock won't. Every boat I'm about to show you has one thing in common, and it's the whole secret. Not one of them ever touched salt water. They spent their whole lives on fresh water, and that single fact is why a cheap houseboat outlasts a brand new trawler. There are 3 of them. The one at number 1 can actually take you somewhere. But we start with the boat you've walked past 100 times without ever learning its name. Here's the part the salesman is counting on you not knowing. Right now, the people are not buying. The whole used boat business has swung hard into a buyer's market. There's a glut of unsold boats sitting at docks bleeding money every month, and houseboats in particular shed value like an RV. A new one drops about 20% the first year and close to a third of its price inside 5. So the man who aged out of his boat is practically giving it away on one end of the dock, while the factory still wants $750,000 on the other. The trick is knowing which of these old boats were built to outlive the people who built them. The freshwater ones were. And the first one is a boat you've seen at every dock in the country without ever knowing what it was. Number 3. The Gibson. This is the fiberglass houseboat people walk straight past in the brokerage yard because it looks like every other boxy white boat tied to the dock. That's your edge. A rough one, a fixer that needs love, trades for $4,000 or $5,000. A clean freshwater 40-footer, the kind a careful old owner kept under a covered slip, runs in the high 30s to low 40s. Hold that against a small new trawler that runs well into the hundreds of thousands, and you start to see the shape of this whole thing. Here's why it lasts. Gibson has been building fiberglass houseboats since 1968. Solid glass in a semi-V hull made for inland lakes, not for the brochure. It's a blunt-bowed boat that plows along at hull speed and doesn't care. The marine version of an old pickup that won't die. Down in the engine room, you'll usually find a pair of carbureted Crusaders, either 350s or the bigger 454s. That's the small block Chevy of the water. No computer to fail on a Sunday night, no turbo, nothing you can't fix on a Saturday with hand tools and a part number off the shelf at any auto store in the country. What scares buyers off is all cosmetic. Gray 1980s styling, a badge nobody recognizes, a bow shaped like a brick. None of that is structural. What you actually check, and this is the honest catch, is the original fuel tanks, which on these can be aluminum or black iron and do rot from the outside in, and the core in the transom and stringers where the drives punch through the hull. You put a surveyor on it before you hand over $1. Buy this boat if you want a freshwater weekender or a liveaboard you can wrench on yourself. Skip it if you're dreaming about crossing open salt water, because this was never that boat. The next one is the boat the old-timers still call the Cadillac. Number 2, the Harbor Master. If the Gibson is the work truck, this is the wide-body luxury cruiser of the bunch, and almost nobody under 50 remembers it because the company quietly stopped building them and the newest ones you will find are from the early 2000s. That's exactly why it's cheap. You can get into one starting right around $32,000. A new trawler with that kind of interior room is $750,000 and climbing. These were built as a fiberglass modified V, true wide bodies from 44 to 52 feet, and they're heavy, solid, roomy boats. The people who own them call them the Cadillac for a reason. The power is usually a pair of Crusaders 4x4s, the same simple gas big blocks you can rebuild yourself, and a rare few left the factory with Cummins diesels in them. The reason this boat sits unsold is that it's an orphan with a badge. The builder went quiet, so buyers panic about parts and walk away, and the styling reads dated to anybody shopping with their eyes instead of their head. If this is the kind of straight talk nobody else on the dock will give you, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I put out a new one of these every week. Now, the honest catch on the Harbor Master. Because it's a big boat with a lot of flat cabin top, you check the deck and the roof core for saturation, soft spots where water has been sitting and soaking into the core for years, and you check those fuel tanks again. And understand, the big blocks will drink if you push them hard. Buy this boat if you want the most freshwater living space your money can buy and you're not afraid of an orphan. Skip it if you need a current dealer down the road and a warranty to sleep at night. The last one is the cheapest boat on this list that can actually take you somewhere, the houseboat that cruises like a trawler. Number 1, the Holiday Mansion, the model they call the Barracuda. This is the boat I would put my own money on, and it is the one that finally answers the trawler in the title, because this is a houseboat that actually goes places. Most houseboats are flat-bottomed boxes that plow from one cove to the next and call it a day. This one is not. It has a planing hull and 2 helms, one up top and one inside, and the people who own them will tell you the same thing every time. Unlike almost every other houseboat at the dock, you can actually drive this thing somewhere. It does what a trawler does, takes you down the river and across the lake to a new anchorage for a fraction of what a trawler costs. And the price is where it earns the top spot. A clean, older Barracuda with a pair of engines in it trades for around $19,000 or $20,000. A nicer one, updated and ready to go, runs into the high 30s and low 40s. Now hold any of those against a new cruising trawler that does the very same job for $750,000, and you tell me who got played, the man buying the $20,000 boat, or the couple the broker is walking up the dock. Here's why it lasts. It is solid fiberglass, built as a real cruising hull rather than a floating shoebox, with the freeboard and the running gear to handle open water. The power is usually simple gas engines, often a pair of small block 350s, and some have been repowered with outboards or a small diesel. Nothing on this boat needs a computer or a dealer to keep it alive. What gets it ignored is the same old story, and none of it is structural. The brand is not a household name. The styling reads straight out of the 1980s, and a tired one down south can look rough enough to walk right past. That is all paint and upholstery. But here's the honest catch, and on this boat, it's the whole ball game. So listen close. The Barracuda was built to go coastal, which means a lot of them spent real time in salt water. And salt is the one thing that ages one of these the way nothing else can. So your job, before you fall in love, is to find the one that lived its whole life in fresh water and never once touched salt. That's the secret of this entire video standing in front of you in a single boat. A freshwater Barracuda and a saltwater Barracuda can be the same year, the same model, the same asking price, and they are not the same age. Not even close. You check the fuel tanks and the deck core for soft spots, same as any glass boat, and you don't hand over $1 until your own surveyor has been underneath it and confirmed where it's been. Buy this boat if you want a houseboat that can genuinely cruise and you're willing to hunt for the freshwater one. Skip it if you're going to drop it right back in salt, because then you've thrown away the only thing that made it special. So what does a boat like this actually cost to keep once it's yours? Here's the part the broker walks right past while he's smiling at your wife and talking about sunsets. Start with the slip, because you pay for that every single month, whether you untie the lines or not. On an inland lake, you're looking at somewhere between $10 and $35 a foot, which shakes out to $2,000 to $4,000 a year for a normal slip. More like $8,000 or $10,000 if you want a high-end marina with every amenity. A covered slip costs you more, but it's the single best thing you can do for one of these boats, because a hull that lives under a roof barely ages. Then, the survey, and you do not skip this one. Figure $15 to $30 a foot, $600 to $900 on most of these boats, and that survey is the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy against a $20,000 mistake. Then the first year. Budget a few $1,000s for impellers, fluids, gaskets, a tune-up, all the catch-up a boat needs when a new owner takes over. As for fuel, let me be straight with you, because the brochure never is. Plowing along at houseboat speed, 6 or 7 miles an hour, a pair of those gas blocks will sip maybe 8 to 12 gallons an hour, and if you shove the throttles down, it gets a lot worse. But here's the thing nobody tells you. You barely run them. A houseboat spends almost its whole life anchored in a quiet cove or tied to the dock. The motor hardly turns. So the fuel bill stays small even on a thirsty engine. Do the arithmetic out loud. Buy at $20,000, put a few thousand in the first year, keep it 10 years, and it pencils out to a few $1,000s a year for a real home on the water. The engine was never the thing that was going to break you. On fresh water, under a covered slip, the boat itself barely ages. It's everything around it: the slip, the survey, the deferred maintenance, and the salesman is counting on you not to add it up. The one oversight that quietly undoes the whole deal is skipping that survey and buying a hull that was soaked in salt. Which brings me to the thing this whole video has been building toward. Here's what nobody on that dock will say out loud. A houseboat that spent its life in freshwater and the same boat that spent its life in salt are not the same age. They weren't even born in the same year, in any way that matters. Salt water corrodes metal roughly 5 times faster than fresh. Freshwater boats hold their value better and they insure cheaper. And where a saltwater boat needs a hard survey at 10 years old because the salt has been working on it the whole time, a freshwater boat can go 15, 20, even 25 years before any of that becomes urgent. And it shows up in more than the hull. Freshwater is gentler on everything. Metal on the boat, the engine, the wiring, the through-hull fittings, the tanks, all the little parts that salt quietly eats while the owner is busy looking at the sunset. A lake boat often spends half the year hauled out for winter too, out of the water entirely, while the salt boat down south sits in the brine 12 months a year getting worked on by the tide. So when you find a clean freshwater houseboat, you're not just buying a cheaper boat, you're buying a younger one, and the market hasn't figured that out yet, which is exactly why the price is where it is. Sit with what that means. A freshwater hull is born younger and it stays younger. The day you buy that $20,000 lake boat, it's structurally fresher with more life left in it than the brand new trawler the broker is trying to sell that retired couple, because the trawler is about to spend the rest of its life soaking in salt, and that clock starts the moment it splashes. That's how a cheap houseboat outlasts a brand new trawler. It isn't magic, and it isn't a trick. It's chemistry, and it's the lake the boat lived on. The cheapest boat at the dock can quietly be the one with the most life left in it. So there are your three. The Gibson you trip over at every freshwater marina in the country and never knew the name of. The Harbor Master, the forgotten Cadillac with a badge that scares people off and a hull that doesn't care. And the Holiday Mansion Barracuda, the cheap fiberglass houseboat that actually cruises like a trawler, as long as you find the one that never touched salt. Now go back to that dock at the start, the broker in the polo shirt walking the couple toward the near $1,000,000 trawler. You can see it for what it is now. The smart money was never on the showroom floor. It was 2 slips down the whole time, on a freshwater boat that some careful old owner already paid for and already ate the depreciation on. A boat that never touched salt and never will. Freshwater is not the downgrade the dock makes it out to be. Freshwater is the entire reason these boats win. That's the thread running through all three. The new trawler is built to be financed, sold on a sticker and a joystick and a payment book. These old freshwater boats were built to be owned by people who figured you'd want to fix the thing yourself someday and made it simple enough that you could. One of them is an appliance with a loan against it. The other is a boat that owes you nothing the day you hand over the cash. So when you go looking, don't let anybody walk you up the gangway of the shiny one first. Walk to the back of the yard where the smart money parks. Climb up on the cabin top yourself and feel for the soft spots with your own 2 feet. And pay for your own surveyor, not the broker's buddy, before you hand over a single dollar.